What's up guys, welcome to today's video. I hope you guys all had a great weekend. I believe this video is going up Monday morning for you guys. It's currently Saturday evening for me. It's about 4 in the afternoon right now. In today's video, I'm actually going to be showing you guys how I find properties to put offers on from Google Maps, a combination of Google Maps as well as Zillow. So sit back, relax, enjoy the video guys. This is a very, very effective method to find off-market properties for a great deal. So if you guys are interested in that, be sure to stay through the entire video and let's get it started. So I just got the recording fired up here. The first thing you want to do before you actually go on the Google Maps is just figure out the area that you want to look. It may be a neighborhood that you're really familiar with, or it may be a neighborhood that you're looking to purchase a house in. For me, we're going to use this example because it's the same neighborhood that my 2 rental properties are in, and I actually filmed a previous video in this same neighborhood as well. So once you get on Google Maps, you're basically going to find that neighborhood. You can either type in a street name or a zip code. For my example, I just typed in the zip code, and this is what it brought up right here. So we're basically going to go down to the bottom right corner, and you guys are going to click on this guy, and he's basically, you can drop him in any sort of street that you want to. We're just going to drop him right here. Now this is extremely random. You can literally be any street in the entire United States or wherever you live. The street is completely irrelevant to the actual process of what we're doing right now. So we just landed on this street right here, and basically before we actually get any further in this, the main thing you want to do right now while you're looking through these streets is just look for distressed properties. Now what I mean by distressed properties, the first thing that I look for is yards. I want to see yards or like landscapes that haven't been taken care of or haven't been maintained for over half a year, which means it could have a ton of weeds. It could be overgrowing onto the sidewalk. For example, right here, this yard, it looks like it's pretty well maintained, at least this section of the yard right here that I'm zooming in on compared to this section. So this isn't too bad. This probably wouldn't catch my attention too much. We're basically just going to be clicking down streets and looking for properties that look distressed. When a property is distressed, it means that the owner either gave up on the property or they don't really care about it anymore. Sometimes it means they have a tenant in there that doesn't take care of the property at all, which oftentimes leads me to think that the owner of the current property maybe has a motivation to sell the property, or they're at least more willing to sell the property and they just kind of want to get rid of it, which means you can get it at a good deal. So that's the first step in this whole process, is just getting leads or getting properties that you think the owner kind of wants to get rid of, and oftentimes it's properties that aren't maintained well at all. So we're just going to basically look. This one right here is not in too bad of condition. If I had a lot of time, for the sake of the video, since we're going to keep this short, I'm not going to take this address down, but this could be a property you may be interested in. I actually did this the other day and I actually found 2 really good properties, so we're actually going to use those ones right now. And this is an example actually right over here. So this house right here is the exact opposite of something you want to look for. It's extremely well maintained, fresh paint, new yard. It looks like the owner or the tenant in there really takes care of the property, which means they probably don't want to get rid of it. And just some background information, this house did get flipped. It actually recently sold a couple months ago, so it is a new owner. So I just know right off the top of my head that this isn't even worth looking at. But then you go over to the neighbor's house right here, and this is a perfect example of a property that you may want to look into a little bit more. So you guys can see right here, it doesn't look like the yard's been taken care of for at least like a year. Like these shrubs and these weeds are not intentionally put there. Doesn't look like they cut the yard. I don't even know if they can cut the yard, but just doesn't look too maintained at all. This will be a good property to have a look at. So we are going to copy and paste this address into Google right here, and we're going to enter it. We're not going to look any further right now. We're basically right now just looking for a couple of leads, and this one across the street is actually in the same exact situation here. It does look like it's new roof, relatively fresh paint, but right here with all this stuff in the yard and how overgrown it is on the sidewalk and stuff, this could be another potential lead as well. So let's actually have a look down the side of this property to see if we can. Okay, so this, I don't know if this is really considered their yard. This is more of a communal area because it's on the outside of their fence, but it still could be in their property line. So this is a really, really good sign right here. They have totally given up on any sort of yard work for this property, and I believe this is part of their lot as well. You can even get a look in their backyard. Their backyard looks pretty good, but then you go over here again and it looks like it's extremely overgrown. So this is another property that we are going to write down. It just happens to be in the same exact neighborhood across the street from the other one. So we're actually going to, I think this address is, since it's across the street, I believe it's gonna be 312 3. If you guys want to do this, depending on how much time you have, you can just accumulate like 5-10 addresses and copy and paste them in a new tab so you guys can have some leads to go off. But since we're going to keep this video short, we're only going to use these 2 leads. So now basically the first step of this process is done. We have the leads. Now we have to figure out how we move forward with the 2 leads that we got, and the next step is basically finding out as much information on the property as you can. I personally really like using Zillow for this because I know all the shortcuts. So basically once we have these 2 addresses, we're just going to go on to Zillow right here. And look, sure enough, it pops up with the exact property we're looking at. Now this step right here is super cool. You're gonna go down the price and tax history. You're gonna go to the tax history tab, and Zillow, for every single house on Zillow, it will have a link directly to the county assessor's website, which basically is the website that gives you all the information on the property, when it was sold, who the owner is, and all that kind of stuff. This is an extremely valuable tool right here. So we're gonna click on that link. Granted, you don't need Zillow for this. You can go directly to the county website, but I just like having that shortcut built in Zillow. And right here, guys, this brings up the property, tells us how big the lot size is, almost 7,000 square feet, which is a pretty big lot size. It gives us the owner's information. It gives us when the last deed was written, or when it was documented, which was almost 2 years ago here. So we'll look into that a little bit later, but it's really cool. It even gives you a little floor plan of the actual house as well. This whole situation, it doesn't really matter what the condition of the property is. We're just trying to figure out more information on the house, and then we'll do our due diligence later once we have a hot lead. We don't want to do too much due diligence right now, because if this doesn't lead anywhere, then we don't want to waste our time trying to figure out what we can sell it for and stuff like that. This gives you, at least in the Maricopa County, it gives you what type of deed it was, and a deed is basically a transfer in property. So this is a quitclaim deed. A quitclaim deed is basically there's multiple people in the deed and someone wanted out of it, so they basically quitclaimed themselves out of the deed and transferred the deed to one individual person. A lot of the times this happens with divorces, or maybe a family member that got transferred a property from like a relative that passed away. Maybe a brother or sister got passed down from a parent, and the brother doesn't want to be on the deed anymore, so they'll quitclaim their way out of the deed and leave it up to the sister for the entire deed. This will give you the owner's information as well, which is amazing, because once you have the owner's information, you can basically figure out as much information as you want on them. You can just go do a basic search on them. I don't want to breach anyone's privacy here, but what you would do once you have a name or a contact from a property is you're basically going to go on your own now, and you can find out their phone number. There's a lot of websites that you can pay like $1 or $2 to find out their phone number of the owner of a property, and then from there, I'm not going to film anymore on that, but you guys can obviously figure out what you want to do. You can call them up, you can shoot them a text, you can even go over to their property, knock on the door, although I don't recommend knocking on someone's door. You don't know the current situation that they're in. You can even write them a handwritten letter. Whenever I have written handwritten letters, I've never gotten a response, so a lot of the times it just saves you a lot of time and money to just go on the Google and find out their phone number by going to a website and paying a couple dollars for it. We're gonna do the same thing for the next property, guys, which is this one across the street. So we're gonna go to Zillow as well, and we're gonna find out some more information on it. So someone else beat me to this deal. It sold almost exactly a year ago for $140,000, which I know this neighborhood, that is an insane deal. It is a 1,700, almost 1,800 square foot house, which is massive. This house fixed up $240,000, $245,000 even. I even actually know this house next door right here, the one that I showed you guys previously. This one sold for $238,000. And this house right is the next door neighbor, so that right there is a really good comp on what this one fixed up could sell for. And someone got this property for $140,000. What a freaking steal they got. Who knows how they found the property? Maybe it was a family member, but we might figure that out right now. So we're gonna do the same situation, go to the county website here. We're gonna close out to consolidate some of these things. And we are looking for the owner's name right here. We got the deed information. It looks like it was, like we said, it sold in 2019, or at least that was when the recording date was. A lot of the times you can even figure out how they bought the house. That sometimes is a good sign. If it was an all cash offer, maybe they were investors. So we're gonna go to the affidavit, which is basically in a document on what type of financing they use. So it looks like this specific owner, current owner, put down $25,800. The sell price was $140,000 right there, and it was a conventional loan. So this is a pretty standard transaction, and probably wasn't an investor that bought it. I think it's just maybe a family got really lucky with the deal. Maybe it was another family member or someone they knew that wanted to sell the property. So whoever bought this property got a great deal. Obviously the next step would be typing in these owners' names right here, finding out information on it. You can go write them a handwritten letter to the address because we already have the address, and you can go from there. But that basically is the entire video, guys. You can spend hours here just looking on just random streets in the United States or in the area you want to look for and just find properties that look distressed, find out information about the owner, and then give them a call and move forward from there. So I want to thank you guys so much for watching. If this was helpful, I really appreciate it if you guys dropped a like, and I will see you guys in the next video. If you guys have any questions or video suggestions, comment down below.